Hey geeks, and so today we're going to learn how to set our white balance using a gray card and the white card. Now before we get into this, let's talk about what white balance means, because this is something that gets super technical and I really like to keep things simple so that you can understand and I can understand as well. And so in general terms, your camera, whenever it's set to auto mode, which is the default for most cameras, it's trying to automatically adjust your settings so that your color whites actually look white. And whenever that happens, the rest of your colors are more accurate as well. So that is kind of like the overall general reason why you want to actually make sure your white balance is correct, and also how your camera works in auto mode. And the main setting that it's adjusting is your color temperature, and there's also other things like exposure as well, but this video is going to be talking about white balance. So now that we have a general understanding of what white balance is, let me show you how this works in action. So right now we have it in auto mode and we have this background with this lighting, but as I move around and my environment changes, the most important thing that changes is lighting. And as we just discussed a little bit earlier, this affects the overall white balance, exposure, and in the end, your colors. And even though the auto mode does a good job most of the time, more often than not, the colors are not accurate because the camera is trying to guess what the best settings are for your specific environment. And this is where this whole idea of using a gray or white card to set a custom white balance is so important. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So this is what I'm using. This is a Lasolite by Manfrotto. On the front side is the gray card. It's approximately 18% gray. And then when you flip it over, it is a white card. And it's about 30 centimeters or 12 inches. And it's also collapsible as well, as you can see here. And it does come with a pouch, so it makes it really convenient for you to take this around. And this one is on the pricier side. This is around $50 US, but you could actually get these gray and white cards for as little as $8. And if you wanted to, you could also try using just a white sheet of paper to see the type of results that you get. And if you did want to get the same gray card and white card that I use and you want to support my channel, I will leave an affiliate link in the description area below. So I'm going to show you two main ways to set your custom white balance. And before I begin, I will say I'm using a Sony a7 IV camera, so this is more applicable to Sony cameras. But if you're using other cameras like a Canon or Nikon, they kind of work similarly, where they actually take a picture and then they set their custom white balance based upon the picture. So here is the first way, and I'm doing all of this using manual mode. So I'm going to go into my menu, and then under these settings, I'll go down to exposure and color. And then you'll notice there are a variety of settings, but where we want to go is white balance. And once we're here, the default is auto. And now we're in our white balance menu, and you'll notice there are a number of options. So AWB is auto white balance. But as I move down, you notice that things have changed because of the different settings. But where we really want to go is down further, where we'll see custom 1, custom 2, and custom 3. And this is where we could set our white balance. And in this case, you could choose any one of these custom options. So if you notice, there's a set option down here, and I'm going to choose that. And now you're going to go ahead and take your gray or white card and set it in front of the box, and then you could capture that. Now, in general, the gray card, people usually use this to set their white balance and white to set their exposure, but you can use either one and see what works best for you. So I'm going to use the gray card side, go here, then I'm going to say capture. And now we have set our custom white balance. And that is all that you have to do using this first method. And then the second method is, instead of going through the menu, there's normally a function key or shortcut. So I have a function key. The default is already set up for it on the back of my Sony camera. So I'll press that and you see a number of options, and there you see white balance. And once you do that, you'll go back to the same white balance menu, and you could choose whatever white balance setting you want. And in this case, I would definitely play around with it and see what works best for you. And obviously there's many other options here. You know, there's also exposure, there's color, there is a lot of different things. But in this case, we easily set a custom white balance and it's saved, and we can use it whenever we need it. And so that's all you have to do to set a custom white balance using the gray card or the white card. Protect your online privacy and keep data brokers from selling your personal information by using Delete Me, the #1 privacy information remover service since 2010. Sign up today and get 20% off your first order. For more information, check out the affiliate link in the description area below. And now I've set my white balance using the gray card, and let's see how things look like, and then I'll discuss some other things with the white balance. So right now I have it set at a specific color temperature, and it should not adjust the white balance as I'm moving around in the room. And this is something that you might not be able to tell on a smaller screen, so I highly recommend that you watch this on a larger screen. But the most important thing is here, it doesn't change the white balance. It keeps it at the temperature that I actually set, and that's why having a custom white balance makes such a big difference if you wanted your colors and white balance to be at a certain setting and not adjust automatically. And so for this next custom white balance, I use the white card. So let's see how things look like. We'll do the same thing. I'm gonna move around. And just like the gray card, the color temperature should remain consistent. And even though you might not be able to tell, the color temperature that is set with the white card is actually at 3200 kelvins versus 3300 Kelvin whenever I'm using a gray card. So even though the differences might be slight, there definitely is a difference. Hence why you might want to get one that has both a gray and a white side, and then you find the one that works best for your needs. So here's another example of how auto white balance works versus using a custom white balance. Right now I have it in auto mode, but if I change my lighting situation dramatically, this is where you can see the advantage of using auto mode. So I'm gonna go ahead and adjust it, and you'll see that things have changed. And that is one of the big advantages whenever you are using an auto white balance, is that it adjusts to your changing lighting environments. So now we're using a custom white balance, and this is where you're gonna see a disadvantage when using a custom mode. So we're gonna be doing the same thing. And what you'll probably notice is things are looking really bad. It's blown out. And the reason why this is happening is because we have it at a set white balance, and so things don't automatically adjust as they would with auto mode. So if you're gonna have extreme lighting changes, then you're better off using auto mode. So hopefully that video helped you whenever it comes to understanding white balance in general, and more importantly, how to use something simple like this to get the best overall image quality from your camera. So if you actually had any thoughts on this, or any other ways in which you do this, be sure to leave in the comments area below. And if you did want to see another video that I did talking about how to use the HDMI output from your Sony camera, I'll leave that in the description area below or up here.